Presidential Diamond. I joined this business 3 years ago this coming December. So I've basically grown up and it works. I joined the business when I was 18. I was a senior in high school, and I don't know why I ran with this, but I did. I'm very red, so probably just because I saw the opportunity to make some money. Okay, so I went Ruby in my second month of the business, earned a $500 Ruby bonus. Then in 5 months, 3 days after I graduated high school, I earned the $5,000 diamond bonus and saw a $2,000 commission check at 18 years old. So at that moment, I was like, okay, like this is real. And I just kept going with it. I moved into college. I paid all my tuition in cash. I paid for everything in my dorm in cash, all my furniture, textbooks, like all the crazy stuff that they don't tell you about in high school about what you're about to endure when you go to college. I mean, I spent $900 on textbooks on the first day of college. And I was like, okay, this is why I joined, because I grew up with 4 siblings. Single mom, dad who worked out of the state to bring in an income, and like making ends meet was rough. $20 was a whole lot of money. And so when I went to college, I knew it was on me, and I didn't want to necessarily put that financial burden on my parents anyways. And so having this business come into my life when I didn't know that I needed it is a definition of why this business came into all of your lives, because you're going to find stuff and go through stuff that you're just like, okay, it all makes sense now. Like, this is why I joined. And so I went to college. And a big, huge part of my story that I'm always super transparent in, that I've helped so many people through, that's why I talk about it, is, I got to college and I went through a big change. Like, humans, we hate change. We don't like it. Went to college, moved 3 hours away from home, knew nobody but my boyfriend that I followed to college. And within like a week, we had broke up. Went through all these relationship issues. I mean, all the things that you hear about in movies, they're real. It happened. And, I was majoring in nursing, so I was really stressed about school. Like, it was just a big thing. And so I lost rank from diamond to executive. I went from $2,000 being on top of the world, being super complacent, thinking I just knew everything. It was just the coolest thing ever. I got off the high of being like the youngest diamond ever. Like, it just like crashed and burned, and reality hit. And so seeing that $197 commission check and saying, this ain't gonna cut it. Like, this doesn't pay my bills. And so I just went through a 7-month period of trying to stay above water. I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. I was being an angry leader. I was like copy and pasting posts. I wasn't being authentic. I was not doing personal development whatsoever, because I was just above that. 18 years old, you can just imagine. I was just, I had the best mindset ever. Personal development could not fix the fact I was making a $197 paycheck. That was the issue, as you can tell. And so I remember it was January, and I went to Jade Hooper. She's one of my uplines, and I was like, look, yo, I need some money. This ain't gonna cut it. I'm living off fast starts and prayers, and it's just, I need something. And she was like, Sheyenne, get your double diamond chart out and get to work. And that's it. That's the story of it all. That's where it started. Jade just told me and just reminded me the simple things. And I bought my conference ticket, put my account $80 in the negative. Broker than a joke. If you haven't bought your conference ticket yet, I'm going to talk about that a lot at some point. I just know it because I always do. Go to conference. I was so broke. I got McDonald's and had to split it with my friend that I went with. Okay. I just split McDonald's. Okay. And I told her, I will never, ever have my card declined at McDonald's again. Here we are. Went to conference, got diamond back the first time in February, saw my first above average diamond paycheck, and went double diamond the next month. I went triple diamond 3 months later and got the $15,000 bonus. And 3 months after that, I went presidential diamond, earned the $25,000 bonus, and went from a $400 Ruby paycheck in January to a $25,000 presidential paycheck in October. So within 8 months, I think I like 72 times my paycheck, and I no longer had my card declined at McDonald's. Okay. It wasn't a straight shot. It wasn't just this perfect thing. I grew up a lot. I had to learn a lot of stuff about myself, but above it all, I've created a culture for young women that there is something else, and that you don't have to do the things society tells you to do. And, I paid cash for my Tahoe that's in the parking lot. I, hit a 6-figure savings account. I live life backwards. I've done things that not many 21, I'm 21 now. It's hard. I'm making the adjustment. I just turned 21. And I've done so many things that not many people get to do, that they spend their whole life working towards. So I am just so excited to pour into y'all tonight and talk to you about, just all the things I've gone through, but that's just a little bit about me.
Oh my gosh, I love it so much. There are little snippets in there, the parts of your story that I didn't know that are so amazing. Like how many 99% of people walk away when they have that dip, when that, you're coming in, you go diamond super fast, and then things kind of like fall apart and you're like, what the heck? And in that moment, like, can you imagine had you walked away from the business at that point? Like
I
the
literally tell my team that all the time. I'm like, don't you dare even think about it. Like, look what I would have missed out on if I would have said, maybe I was a one-hit wonder. I'm just gonna peace out my whole life. I don't even know where I'd be. I don't want to know.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. But so like powerful that you can look at your team and say like, I've been there, I get it, but this is what can happen if you just do the things, right? Okay, so let's get down to like, give us all your tips. So what are your top tips for enrolling distributors? Because you enroll like a boss. So what are your top tips?
Okay, so something that I feel like incorporates me being able to enroll a bunch of distributors is that I am not anybody else. I don't copy and paste captions. I don't try to be other people. I don't try to just be this perfect, like, Insta blogger who just makes up stuff. Like, I am me. I talk about things that I like. I talk about the disastrous things that I do because I'm a ditzy blonde. I talk about all the things that I do. Like, I'm just 100% authentically me. So when people join me, they're not joining expecting to have somebody that, if you think about it, if you're copy and pasting all of Trista's captions, when distributors enroll, they're expecting Trista, not you. And they're like, whoa, I just got catfished. Who are you? So when it comes to me, like, I make my captions, I talk about life, whether it's good or bad. I show that I spend $1,000 on one single plane ticket because I buy 3 tickets there and not one back. Like, I share all the things that I do. And that's what attracts people to me, is because I talk about the things that aren't typically talked about. It's not a highlight reel. I share everything that I love and what the business allows me to do. Like, I travel all the time. If y'all follow me, I put 1,500 miles in my car this weekend. Like, literally, I'm just always going because I have the freedom to, and I don't have to say anything about the business. It's the fact that I'm driving in my car on a Tuesday at 10 a.m. Like, it speaks volumes just by what I do. I wasn't always full-time with this. So a lot of people say, well, yeah, you enroll a bunch of distributors, you're presidential. I enrolled more distributors easily when I first started the business than I do now, because people see $20,000 a month in a paid off Tahoe and they're like, oh, cool, you're inspiring, that's great. They don't think, oh wow, I can do that. I didn't join this business with a vision of thinking any of this could happen to me, but because I kept going, I found that. But they don't have that ability, they don't have that vision. And so for those of you that are on here that are like, oh well, it's obviously easier for top leaders to enroll, false. It's actually not. Sherry Lynn's number 2, and she's the steps to successor. Okay. You don't have to be some special person to enroll. You have to have heart. You have to love people, and you have to work hard. And so when it comes to distributors, I share this business, but I enroll more distributors when I show filling up my gas tank, getting groceries, buying like clothes, or getting my nails done. Little things that people have a brain cell for. People don't have a brain cell for $20,000 a month, because sometimes when I see my paychecks, I don't either. I don't believe it. I'm like, is this legal? But they don't see that. And so I want to encourage those of you that just feel like you can't. That's why you're not. Because you tell yourself over and over that you don't have the capabilities, that you don't have this, that you're not the perfect blonde, that you don't have the perfect photos or the perfect this. You're you. And that's what you have. And nobody else has anything on you, because the right people are meant to join you. There are people that are meant to be on my team that join me. And I'm like, if you join anybody else, I don't know if you could have hanged. Like, you're meant to be on my team. And so you're going to have people that would only join you. Like, I followed another girl with this business for like 2 years before I turned 18. So I couldn't have joined, but I never once thought, wow, I would love to do that. Never. I watched her. I mean, she was a presidential, like all this stuff. Never once did I say, oh, I'm going to join her. Clicked the explore page like 2 months after I turned 18, saw Courtney Board posting about the business, and joined her within 2 days. Okay. So some people just don't have what you have. And so you have to be loud about who you are. And I promise the moment you make that switch and brand yourself and talk about things that make you, you will mass enroll distributors. And you also cannot tell yourself that you can't, or the moment that someone says, oh, I enrolled 25 distributors, you're like, well, that's cool. I can't. That's why.
Amen, sister. Amen. So let me ask you this. Do you message, or do you just find that people just kind of come to you because you're being, the authentic Sheyenne?
So I have never messaged for distributors before, but what I have been doing recently is Instagram post to post. I just have a little slide that says who wants to make an extra, $200 to $500 a month. My friend Cheyenne's looking for, people that want that or whatever. Have them tag me, and then I say message money to, and my name is tagged. And I've been getting a bunch. That's how I've enrolled all of my distributors this month. And that's how a lot of my girls are enrolling right now, is just through host to post. But I always message for customers because it's easier for me to turn it around to where if they can't afford to buy the products, I'm like, have you ever thought of making an extra income? Otherwise, people just come to me. Like I had a girl just message me before this and I was like, hold on just a second. But it was just because she just said, like, I've been watching you for a long time. People watch you. This girl's never liked a single one of my posts and she's super cute. And I'm like, where have you been all my life? Like, hello. But people are going to watch you for so long. But as long as you're out there posting and being yourself and talking about the business, people will come to you. Yes, you can find them through Instagram host to post, but majority of my people have always come to me.
Do you primarily you're young, so you probably do you do primarily Instagram?
So actually when I joined, I didn't post a single thing on my Instagram until I went double, because I was so afraid of what people are going to say about me on my Instagram. I felt like Facebook was more like older people and Instagram was more younger, so I felt less ridiculed. And then I went double right after I started using Instagram, and I was like, you're such an idiot, Cheyenne. Like, what are you doing? Why did you care? I do more, I do them both. I get more results from Instagram. Like I post everything that I do on Instagram over on Facebook. But as far as like host to post for customers, I do it on Facebook. So really 50-50.
Okay. So, but do you only do host to post for opportunity on Instagram story?
Yes.
Primarily?
Yes.
Okay. Good to know. Okay. So then you said you do message for customers. Do you have any other super huge tips for customers?
Yes. Okay. So first, get your own dang before and afters. Oh my goodness. Stop using other people's. The moment I got my own before and afters, I went double diamond with 80 something customers for chocolate greens and keto coffee, because it looks like I shaved my cheeks off, that before and after of my face. Yeah, I didn't. It was the results from the coffee and the greens. And so when I started doing that, I had never enrolled over 19 customers. I enrolled 19 when I went diamond, okay? And then I didn't enroll, went double. It was like 86 customers for over 60 BB. And I went double like literally by myself, other than like 3 people that enrolled something. It was because I got my own before and afters. Like every single person was like, let me think about it. I'm like, look at me, I'm skinny, buy my stuff. And so I just got my own results. And then I got hair, skin, and nails. And then I got cleanse. And so every single person that hits me with the let me think about it, does it work? I'm like, well, here you go. You want to know? It does. So get your own before and afters. You'll feel way more confident. I mean, guys, imagine if you never use the products. If you're new here, imagine like how you feel. You're like, I don't really know. I don't know if these work. I don't even know if they're like legit or not. I'm just here to make money. When you get a product in your hand and you physically touch it, it's real. It changes something in your head to where you just know you can talk to everybody about it. You know that you can share the results. You can share what it tastes like. I mean, if you've never tried it and someone says, how does it taste? You're like, I've heard it tastes great. Or if you drink the coffee and someone says, how does it taste? And you're like, oh my gosh, it's so good. And I'm already feeling the energy. I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. Changes the game. So use the products, get your own results, run your auto ship. Never not done it because I use the products every single month. So I have no issue promoting any of them because I feel just so passionate. Number 2, stories. Stories. I don't know how I enrolled or went diamond in 5 months because we didn't have stories then. So for those of you that are here, you're lucky because I don't know how it worked before, but I use stories all day long, not only sharing my life, sharing the screw ups that I do and the funny things and the spilling my coffee, like all the things. I'm also sharing before and afters and how I'm using the products. And like I do IGTVs of my skincare, like all these different things. But they're all on my story. My dad always says, like, if I need to know where you are, if you don't answer the phone, I'll check your Instagram story because I'm always putting stuff on there, but I still make sure that it's good quality just as much as I would on my Instagram because people watch your stories more than they see your post. I mean, I've built my way up from 900 to 12,000 followers on Instagram now, and more people see my Instagram stories than see my Instagram post. So They're more important now than ever. And number 3, I go live all the time. That was my panel at conference. Like, I am a live kind of gal because I love talking to people and like being face to face. And so I just make my coffee and just like chit chat with people, or I go on live and talk about my makeup routine, like things that make me who I am. And, you know, if you have dogs or you have children, like I don't have that. So I'm over here showing people makeup until I have children. But go live about things that you love and integrate how you're using the products. You don't have to sit there and be like, this is our coffee, it does this, this. Nobody wants to watch that. They want to watch you make it. They want to watch you drink it. They want to watch your reaction when you wash your face. Like, do things, but also talk about things in it. And the more you do it, the more like you'll get better at it. But, you know, like when I was going Prez, for example, I literally went live every single day, and people are like, well, that's kind of annoying. I'm like, well, I went Prez. So I went live and I did my skincare, or I made my coffee, or I don't know if we had collagen yet or not, but I was doing any products that we had, and I was just making them while talking about, you know, how stressed I was, or how I hadn't eaten in 6 days, or, you know, how close I was to my promotions. Like, I was just talking like I would be on a FaceTime, you know what I'm saying? So stories, messaging people all day long, every day, following up. Guys, if you're not enrolling, you're not following up. And I know that. I've already caught you. You're guilty because you're not following up with people. I mean, how many emails do you get every single day from Forever 21 and JCPenney and all the things that you put in your cart and didn't want to pay $5.99 in shipping, so you pieced out? That's what our customers do. It's not because they don't want it. It's because they don't want to pay for shipping, or it's a little bit over budget, or they don't want to spend it on themselves. Like, you have to follow up or you will never enroll. You're not annoying. It's what everybody does. We're in sales. We market things. We follow up. 2% of the people that you talk to will enroll on the first time. 2%. Don't let that discourage you. Let that excite you, and know they're all going to enroll at some point, just maybe not the first time you talk to them. You know, the 85% of the people that you sign up are going to be 5 to 21 times the following up, or 78, like the last customer I had. Okay, it was ridiculous. I was like, lady, you better buy something big because I am putting in a lot of effort for you. It was like 4 days after I joined that I messaged her, and she just enrolled. So that's the difference between successful people and not, are the ones that are willing to follow up as many times as it takes before they block you or sign up.
Amen. Okay, so let's talk about this. And you've mentioned kind of little bits and pieces of these, but what does your day-to-day look like, and what are those tasks that you have to make sure you're doing every single day to grow your business?
So this is a 2-part question. So when I first joined, my 6 list and what I did every day looks a lot different than what I do now, because every new rank brings on new responsibilities, but it's still pretty much I still do the same things I did then, just more because of the spot that I'm in. So when I first joined this business, I was a full-time high school student, got to school at 6:30 every morning for a dual credit college class, went to school until 3 o'clock, had cheer practice until 6, drove 30 minutes to work, worked till midnight, drove 30 minutes back home, still had to take a shower, do my homework, do all the normal things, and I still went diamond in 5 months. So if you think you're too busy, you're wrong. You know, I just had all this stuff to do, and I still did what I was supposed to do, but I never looked at it as I have to work my business here, then I have to do this, then I have to do this, then I'll work my business again. Like, it was just a pile of squash. Like, it was just all of it in a pot that I just mixed together and made it happen. So if you're a mom of like a bunch of children, or you work a bunch of jobs, or you've got like all the things going on, congrats. You're going to do better than I do, because I like, sometimes I sit here full time and I'm just like, what do I do? Like, what do I do with all this time? I promise you that I got way more done when I was so busy. Like, it's just how it is. That's why successful people stay busy. So that was just I talk a lot, so just let me just blab. So I would wake up in the morning, get up my post, follow a couple people, message some people, get ready. I learned to get ready really fast because I don't like to wake up early. So I wanted to squish it all in the like a little bit amount of time that I had. Our school actually blocked social media through the Wi-Fi. So all day long from 6:30 a.m. to 4:30 until I got out of school, absolutely no work could be done. So that's another thing. You're not too busy. I would drive 30 minutes to work. Every stop sign I was sitting at probably was on my phone way too much, should not have been. They probably thought I had IBS at work because I would go sit in the bathroom for like 30, 45 minutes and come back and be like, hey guys, don't mind me. I sat on the counter. I worked at a resort and there was a drink closet, and I would like lock myself in there because we only stocked those when we got to work so nobody would find me. I would hide in there. Like, I just made it work. But I would post, I would message, follow up, interact, and make sure that I stay plugged in. I mean, what we do is so simple, but as humans, we overcomplicate things like a ridiculous amount. So many of you are like, well, what's working, or what? The same things are still working that they did 20 years ago. It's just a little different. We still reach out to people. We still talk about the products. We still post every single day. There's nothing special to this. It's just a matter of doing it every day. When I first joined, I used to get 6 likes on my post. It was like my upline, me, I'd like my own post. Some of my friends that supported me, my dad and my mom, like that was it. But I still do the same things then now that I did 3 years ago, and they still work the same. I just have to be consistent with them. So, when it comes to like the things that I do, actually posting and being 100% you, posting on your story. The second thing, messaging, reaching out to people every single day. If you don't ask, they don't want to reach out to you. It's just how it is. You got to ask. 3, following people. You can't talk to the same 200 people every single day. That's one of the biggest things I find with my new girls as they get through their warm market and they're like, I'm not enrolling. And I'm like, yeah, because you're talking to the same people and just like beating a dead horse. Like you've got to talk to new people and get new people onto your page. So you have to follow people. 4, interacting. It's huge. I literally spend so many hours of my day interacting because I still want to scroll. I still want to do the things that I normally do. Like I like to look at people's lives and watch Facebook lives and do all that and not feel guilty about it. So if I'm working at the same time, hello. So I comment on stuff. I tell people that I like their shirts, that I think that they're super cute or their family's precious or whatever. So my name is in their head. They're like, oh, Sheyenne Knox, Sheyenne Knox. She's always on my stuff. Who is she? I click on my profile and bam, she's in because she sees my post. Then I make sure that I am pouring into my mind. Okay. This gets more and more and more important as you go on throughout the business. But if you are not doing personal development, cancel your e-suite. Just kidding. It's that important, guys. That is why I was stuck for so long, is because I wasn't moving. I wasn't growing. Your mind is capped out. From the moment you join this business, there's a cap. And if you don't grow that, you're going to hit the cap and be stuck like I was. I was stuck for 7 months. Don't do what I did because you're going to be broke and unhappy. So I hit diamond. That's where my mind was. It's the farthest it was going to take me. And then there's a barrier. I just got off a Zoom with Claire and she was talking about there's this like thin barrier that we have of BS that we create for ourselves because we're like, I don't need personal development. That's for the birds, not me. I have a strong mindset. You have that thin layer and someone's going to bust through it. And your team is going to keep seeing that you're just repeating the same personal development of the one book that you read, or the one article that you think that you know, or the same Bible verses that you have memorized from like Sunday school. Like it gets old and you have to grow your mind because not only for you, but it's a selfish thing to do when you're over here telling these distributors that you're going to help them be successful when you're not pouring into your own success, right? I used to think that I was just like perfect and had this great mindset and was a diamond and I was balling and I didn't need anybody else. And I was like, team, like, let's go. I need money. That's how I was for a long time. And I picked up a book. I started listening to podcasts. I started going to church. I started pouring into myself. I started my journey of becoming close to God because I really wasn't. I wasn't raised in church. And if you all know me, I just went on a mission trip and I lead a journaling Zoom about Jesus every morning. So things change, but it's because I made the decision to grow myself. And that's only me. And, Krista can text you all day and be like, watch this video, read this, watch this thing. But like, you've got to click on it and you've got to listen to it and you got to take the notes, because if you don't, that's selfish, not only for your own self, because you're never going to level up, but you're causing your team that trusted you to lead them. You're telling them that they're not important because you're not willing to grow yourself to pour into them. I do leader Zooms every single week for my team. And if I didn't do that, they would have to pour into themselves, but also they're not pouring into their team and getting filled up to be able to help people down below. And so that's something that you're going to have to do now, because when you do have a team that's massive, they have to grow and you have to grow too. And then the last thing is showing up. So getting on Zooms, this is the first step. Congratulations. I'm glad you're here, because this is how you grow yourself. 99.9% of my success is from me showing up to the Zooms, to the lives, to the trainings, to the Sunday family call, even when I don't want to sit there and listen to them blab for an hour because I just want to know who was going to Costa Rica. Like, I get it, okay? But I still show up on the days that I don't want to, or I'd rather just lay in bed or not do anything. Or, today I woke up this morning and was like, what in the heck am I going to tell my leaders? I really don't know, and I'm just not feeling it. And I prayed about it. I read a book. I got a text from my leader, and bam, it was like I had all this content in my head. It's because I poured into myself enough to know what my team needs from me. but it didn't start that way. Okay. I did the things, I did those 6 things that I talked to you about that I did every single day. And as I grew my team and as I had more people, more responsibilities came upon me, but I was prepared for them because of the things I did 3 years ago.
I love that. Okay. So let me ask you this a little bit about your day-to-day. You said you grow your network. How have you found it to be like most time effective and to actually get like followed back? How do you find the people that you're going to follow so that they connect to you? Like, do you do like boutique? What do you do? How do you find people?
So this goes back to how I was talking about you branding yourself. So somehow, I don't know how, it's a joke within my team, I've attracted so many people that are like straight up animal lovers. Like all have animals, they all volunteer. I don't even have a dog. I don't have pets. I really don't like them. I'm not an animal person. But all my leaders all have animals and that's all they talk about. But because of that, they all have, like my whole team literally has animals because my original leaders just replicated what they do. And so they talk about the same things all the time. And so that's your brand. So when you're following people, not only do you not, like, I tell my girls this all the time, my new distributors, I don't want you to change who you are or what you do. You would have followed these same people if you weren't in the business. I mean, how many times are you scrolling? You're like, this girl's cute. I like what she does. She has a dog. I have a dog. I'm going to follow her. That's what happens. So you have to be posting right and talking about being you. Like I will follow people from boutiques and fashion and makeup and all that stuff because that's what I love. And when I post about it, I retain those people because I followed based on who is closest to me and who relates to me most. And I retain those people. And then they see what I do and they see the business and the products. And I'll find, like, I'll remember, I'm really good with faces. So when I follow people, I'll remember this picture and, I'll see them start liking stuff and like following stuff and swiping up on stuff. And then bam, they message me about the stuff because they talk to me. They talk to me about, the makeup that I talked about, or they watched my hair tutorial and they saw that I'm a normal person and not some like It Works robot. And then they talk to me and they're comforted by that. So it's almost like interacting without doing it because they relate. So I challenge you tonight, if you haven't done this before, to go to your Facebook and your Instagram and say, like, what are 5 things you think of when you think of me? It's a great interaction post, but it's also for you to see if you've truly been talking about things that you love. And a lot of my girls are like, well, I'm not really that cool. Like, I'm not interesting. I don't have anything cool about me. That was me for a long time. I was like, I am literally just an It Works girl. I mean, first off, that's really cool, but that's all I felt like I had until I was like, no, Sheyenne, like you love like finding clothes and like, putting on your makeup, like you love those things. And that's your brand. That's who you are. Even if you're a mom or a Christian, like those are your brands. That's who you are. And so talk about them. Like my highlights are my boyfriend, food. I'm a major foodie. Like when I travel, it's all I talk about. So I was like, well, that's my brand, food. I talk about that. And I talk about makeup and clothes. And like for a while it was cactus. For those of you that have been following me for a while, like I got cactus stuff everywhere. And then now it's cheetah print. Like people will find like cheetah print clothes and tag me in it because that's so much of who I am because I love it. So find those things that you love, start talking about them religiously and go follow people based on the things that you love. And you'll realize that sooner or later you've built this community of people that know you and they've never met you. Like I literally, guys, I'm not even kidding. I was at the airport in Houston and this girl came up to me and she was like, are you Sheyenne? And I thought she was in the business. And I was like, yeah. She was like, I follow you. And like, I love that you like love cheetah and I do too. And I was like, everything I've been preaching is true. It works. It is real. Like these people know things about me when I've never talked to that girl. I'd never messaged her, nothing. And she was just there. And so I was like, you want to join my business? Because that's something else pretty cool. But you see what I'm saying? Like you've just got to be you and you're going to attract people. And it's so much easier to follow people when you know who you are because you know the people you want in your circle. And when I say you attract your people, like my team is literally me, like reincarnated, but like they like dogs. I don't know how it happened. But it's all because I branded myself and followed people that were just like me. And so my team is literally a bunch of me.
I love that so much. Okay. So talk about, when did you start viewing yourself as a leader? Let's start with that. When did you start like saying like, okay, I'm a leader. I have something to offer people, or I better figure it out because I have a team following me.
So something that's cool is, leading has always been my thing. Like in every event I was in school, like I always tried to be the president of everything. But a lot of times I came up short. And I talked about this in an IGTV video. If you're one of those people, it's like always counting yourself out. Like I tried track because I'm almost 6 foot. And I was like, I can do that. Like I can like put my leg over things and like hop, like I'm fine. Terrible. I tried to play volleyball. Awful. I was a bench warmer. I tried to play basketball, made C team, like all these things that I tried to do. And I just wanted to lead in them. Like I wanted to, be president of student council, and I was in cheer and I tried to try out for that and didn't make captain, like all these things because I had the leader in me. I just had to find the thing to like unleash it. And that was his business. When I joined, I had a lot of learning things. Like I said, I joined and I was an angry leader because I was like, you need to do this and you need to do this. And I was just barking orders to people because you're a leader the day that you click submit. Because at any time someone can join you and you are expected to lead them. You are the foundation the moment that you join. And some of you are like, oh, wait, what? I'm not a leader. Like I just joined this gig. I don't even know what I'm here for. You're a leader, but it's going to grow and it's going to evolve through everything that you go through in this business, through every distributor. I mean, every distributor I've enrolled has taught me something, how to be more patient or how to be more green because I'm negative green. Like I've learned so many things of how to be more compassionate. And, it's crazy because when I first joined, and I took the color language test, I was 100% like fire red. Like that was it, the only color I had. And now when I take it, I'm 50% yellow and 50% red because somewhere along the way, it's like the Grinch, it like turned red a little bit. And so then I had a heart. No, but it's just, you're going to grow and you're going to find all these things. But guys, you're a leader from the beginning and you have to act like one. And that's where showing up comes first and forehand. I'm not expecting you to know everything or to know how to work this business like hand in hand with everything. And you're going to fail and you're going to make a lot of mistakes and your posts are probably going to be awful when you join because Time Hop does me really dirty sometimes. And I'm like, I did not post that. That did not get me to diamond in 5 months. But it did because I was so confident about it. And I knew, like, I was hosting leader Zooms. Like, I tried to make my own team page at Emerald. Do not recommend it. Don't do that. But I was over here, like, posting. I was a one-man show, like, just trying to lead my team. And so I decided very early on that I wanted those responsibilities. I wanted to lead my team, even though I didn't know how, but I was willing to learn. And then I learned how to not be an angry leader and try to tell people what to do. That was not what a leader was. A leader is doing the work and like duplicating that and showing your team the way. God placed this business in your life for a reason, and you may have not found that out yet, but you're going to, and you're going to be the reason that other people have like a way out. Like when I joined, it was selfish reasons. I wanted money. I wanted things for myself that, this was going to give me. And then quickly I enrolled people that were like, oh my gosh, like I paid for gas. And then now, I have moms on my team that stay home full time with their kids because I made one decision. And, I watched them buy cars and pay off debt and then like go through, like we just did a Zoom, it'll be on my YouTube, about going through life. And, I had a almost or double diamond on my team just lose her mom recently, and she was able to just pick up and go be with her family and not have to think about it, and had all these layered leaders that because one day she decided to be a leader and her leaders show up for her in the moments that she can't show up 100%. And that was because one day I decided to be a leader and pour into people too. So whether you're brand new here, hello, welcome to the best decision ever, or you've been around a little while, if you're wanting to create leaders on your team, you have to be the leader first. You have to be the runner if you want the runner. You have to be the leader if you want leaders, because they're going to do exactly what you do. So if you don't show up on the Zooms and you're ready and eager, if you don't show up on the lives, if you don't post every day, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, don't expect your team to. But everyone is a leader. Some people are more natural at leading and some people aren't, but it's a muscle. And it's something that can be grown, and you have to be willing to dictate whether you think you're a leader or not, and you have to show up. But the leader I was 3 years ago, ooh, the leader I am now still have so much growth, but I've cultivated so many other leaders that are growing along the way. So flex the muscle and grow the muscle, because it's going to grow so much over the next couple of years.
So good. Okay, so let's talk about, how do you identify those up and coming leaders in your organization, and how do you give them that voice and empower them to start stepping up and flexing their leadership muscle?
So I think the first thing in, like Cami says, people will die for recognition, and they truly will. It doesn't matter what color you are, being acknowledged is just the best thing ever. So when I have a new distributor that joins and they, post something, or they post on their story, or they talk about like enrolling a distributor or something, I'm like, I am just so excited for you. Like, you're going to be the best leader ever. Like, you're going, like, just, I always empower people, because when you instill belief in somebody, it's over. Like, I remember being on a plane and my upline, Courtney Bohr, posted about me being fast start qualified. It is still stuck in my head because she shouted me out for getting my first 4 customers, getting that 150 in volume. And it was like over from there. I was like, she shouted me out. Like, I'm going diamond because I want to be shouted out for going diamond. Like, I'm just that person. And when she did that, she instilled belief in me that I can too be a leader and grow in this business. And it was all from one post, guys. So shout out your team, because it goes a long way. And so that's just the biggest thing, is just making sure you're recognizing your people and like giving them responsibilities. So something, if any of y'all are red, I tried to handle everything. I was the manager. I took over it all. I didn't want anybody to lead. I didn't want anybody to post in my chats because it was probably wrong. I tried to correct everybody. I was just that kind of drill sergeant. And I didn't give people the responsibility until I got to a point and I was like, I don't want all this responsibility. Like, this is a lot and I'm tired. And I started giving people like, you do a power hour, or you host this team Zoom with me, or like getting people to step up in ways that it just eventually created leaders. But it wasn't an overnight thing. That's something that a lot of people get frustrated with, is they're like, well, this person's not doing anything. And I'm like, have you given them the validation to want to? Have you shown them that they can run a Zoom, or that they can do a power hour, or that their posts are good? Because if somebody does something for long enough and they don't feel validated for it, they're going to stop doing it. And so you have to make sure that as a leader, it's hard, guys. It's a tough job to lead other people when sometimes you don't even know how to lead yourself, but it's because you're setting the example and you're validating people and believing in them, because your leader believed in you, and that's why you're on the Zoom. Because you know that you're good enough to be here. You know that you can enroll a team and lead a team and, go diamond, or whatever your goal is. Go instill that in someone else and show them that they can too lead, but you just have to give them that recognition to get to that point.
I love that. Sometimes it's amazing the power that our words have. And I think sometimes, like, when you've been in for so long, you kind of forget, like, oh, you got your first 2 customers, like, whoop-de-doo, or you got your first 4 customers, you got your shopping spree, or you got to 400 for the first time. Like that, I remember when Brittany shouted me out for getting my first 4 customers, and I was like, I'm a rock star. Like, I did it on my own. She didn't have to help me. I just did it, and I'm going, like, I'm balling in this business. But we forget that that's such a big deal for people starting out. Like, that is huge. So I love that you brought up like shout outs, because that meant so much I know it meant so much to me. And it just means so much to new people. Okay. So what is the biggest obstacle you've had to overcome in your business, and how did you do so?
So I think the biggest obstacle was probably that whole period of me just like trying to search through my business and figuring out what the heck was wrong with me as to why I wasn't maintaining. And like I said, that was just a big learning experience of personal development. And I want to reference this. I literally talk about this on every single Zoom. This is why you show up, guys. You take one thing from something that changes everything. So Cami was talking about this the other day. She talked about it at Green Carpet. I think I wasn't there, but my team was talking about it, and I saw a text screenshot that she had. And she talked about how, and I talk about this on my journaling Zooms a lot. So if you're on those, you're going to hear it again, but it's that good. And she talked about how, you see this mountain promotion that you want, and you look at it and you're like, I want that. And, God's ready to help you get there. Like, you've got the tools, like my friend Carly always says, like, you can get the toolbox, you got all the tools, you may be using the wrong tools, or you're not using them at all, but you've got the things to get there. And so you're looking at that mountain and you're like, I want that. Like, I want to go to that mountain over there. And, God's like, okay, like, that's great. And you're over here trying to climb a bridge to that mountain and avoid everything that's down here that scares you, like the working and all the things and the valley that's down there. And you try to walk across the bridge, and God says, don't you know that bridges are man-made? I did not make bridges. I made valleys. I made the things that are down there for you to go through them and learn your lessons, and learn that you're being a terrible leader, and learn that you need personal development, and learn all these things about yourself to prepare you for that mountain. You can't just skip. I know we would love to. I know that would just be the greatest thing ever. Life's not fair. You have to go through the valley, and you have to learn all those things. So You know, guys, my story is like something that I don't typically always talk about, but my mom was a major alcoholic, and I grew up with that as a major struggle because that's hard. I don't know if any of y'all relate to that, but 4 siblings, my mom who wasn't always around, who chose that over us, and it was hard. And that was a big part of my story as to why I wanted success so bad. I didn't even know that when I first joined, but I knew I was made for more. And because this business gave me an outlet to take something and run like hell, because I knew I deserved that. And I knew that I wasn't going to live that life. I wasn't going to do that thing. And I'm thankful I had that as an example of what not to do. You know, now I know that, I mean, I'm 21, I don't drink because I know that I don't want that. I want more for myself. And this business gave me that. It brought me closer to God. It brought me people that I really don't know what my life would be like without. And it's given me a financial opportunity to be able to just, I mean, that's the biggest thing of just, wow, look at what I've done with all of this. And so it's all those things. And that was a huge thing that before this business carried me through the major success that I've had, because I know that I can do this. And I know that if this fell into my lap, like, this is the one thing I can control. I couldn't control that I couldn't make the basketball team. I couldn't control that I could not play volleyball to save my life, and that I couldn't be captain and I couldn't be president of everything. But this is my business. I control everything that happens. Maybe not necessarily what happens to me, but what I can do to fix it and how I can make it happen for me. You know, if I want ambassador, I'm going for it. I mean, I got my charts out. I got it all out. Like, that's my last rank. That's what I want. And I can control if I get there because I pour into my team enough and I pour into myself enough. I love people and I hustle hard. I'll be ambassador one day, and I control that 110%. So no matter, you know, what hard things you're going through in life, and the Zoom that I did that I'm uploading right now will change everything if you're going through something. But you're going through that to learn something. And this is my notes from the last Zoom. And I wrote down a game plan for my team that's maybe struggling with something. Maybe you lost rank. Maybe you cannot figure out what in the heck you need to do to get to that next rank because you've been sitting somewhere and you're stagnant. Number one, strip away all the excess. Just get down to the basics, do the simple things, do the 6 things, enroll customers, enroll distributors, stop trying to figure out the perfect things, strip away the excess that doesn't matter, the baggage, the, you know, no self-confidence, the, you know, people that are dragging you down, maybe your circle, you know, whatever it is, do the simple things, okay? Just do the things. Number 2, grow yourself. I'm sure you're like, oh my gosh, you've said this like 7 times. Yeah, because it's important, okay? You need to grow yourself. You need to grow your mind and pour into yourself so that you can pour into others. And number 3, find the lesson. You're learning something through this, whether you don't see it or not. In the moment, I was like, this is ridiculous. I do not deserve this crap. I need my diamond paycheck back. But looking back at it now, I was not ready to be a double diamond leader. Holy mackerel. I would have lost that so fast. I would have lost all the people that promoted with me because I wasn't ready for it. But I found the lesson going through that valley that I needed to learn to carry me to the point that I'm at. And number 4, move. Start moving. You are not stuck. You've convinced yourself that you're stuck because you're not putting one foot in front of the other. Go watch the Pam Souter podcast. Go watch the video she just did about being stuck. You're not stuck. That's a chosen decision that you're saying, I'm stuck. I can't enroll. I can't do this. I can't post. I can't promote. I can't. You said that. No one said that to you. No, none of your uplines, Mark didn't tell you that. Like, you told yourself that you're stuck. You have to make yourself get unstuck. You have to put one foot in front of the other. You have to start moving. You have to start doing the things, or nothing's going to happen. You're going to be stuck where you are when everyone else is moving. You know, I say this a lot. When the tide rises, all ships do rise. But there are some that get stuck over there on the island on shore because they're not willing to even get to the wheel to drive their ship. They're not even willing to do the things to get in the ship. They're just stuck while everyone else is going up. Don't be the person that gets left behind, guys. There is so much stuff happening with conference, the Margaritaville trip. I mean, Costa Rica just got announced. Like, all this stuff is happening. Don't let the enemy distract you. Do not get stuck in the quicksand and not be willing to put one foot in front of the other so that you don't get left behind. Because I can tell you one thing, if we're at a conference and Mark is like, okay, it's 9 cents to join the business, do you even have a potentials list? Have you even been posting? Have you been doing your 6 list? Probably not, but forgive yourself and start working. That's the biggest thing. As you sit there and you're like, well, I haven't even been working. Well, congrats. Nobody knows. Just start working, okay? Because, I mean, it's all up to you. Like, there's nobody here. Like I said, we can give you the toolbox. I've given you every single thing that you need. You have the resources. You have all the stuff, but you've got to get the tools out and use them. You've got to use the hammer. You've got to use the screwdriver. You've got to use all the things. And even if you're using them in the wrong places, you're doing something. And that's going to create energy that's going to take you to the places that you want to go.
Amen. I feel like we can just shut it off. Like we're done now. Like that was like golden. So good. I remember a couple weeks ago, Pam did a Zoom. I think it was with Claire, Rachel, and Tiffany. And she was like, and somebody asked like, I'm just in a season. Like, how do I get it? And Pam was straight up like, seasons are crap. That is a lie you're feeding to yourself. Like there are other people out there promoting, y'all just aren't working. And I was like, mic drop. Like it's so true though, right? Like we can talk about seasons all we want to, but there are people out there killing it at all times. It's just like, are you doing the work? But the other thing is, if you haven't been, that's okay. Start today. And in this year, get your potentials list going, because we all know the beginning of the year is going to be insane. The end of this year is going to be insane. We still have tons of new products coming. We still have like, who even knows what they're going to bring out the next like couple months. We just got a little invite to a leader Zoom on like the 24th because they're bringing something out. Like get ready now, get to work now, because big things are coming. Okay. Before I ask you our last question, somebody asked, have you ever looked at using TikTok?
So we actually have a couple of girls that are under Jade that talk about it. I don't use any of those apps because like I deleted Twitter, I deleted Snapchat, I deleted all the things because it's just so distracting for me that I feel like if I downloaded TikTok, I would just scroll and look at all the videos. But if you feel like that would add another market, I mean, go for it, but just don't let it distract you, because things like that tend to happen. Like sometimes on Instagram or Facebook, like I get stuck in the Facebook videos of like the cop videos of people getting arrested and like all the funny things. And I'm like 4 hours deep in it. I'm like, oh my gosh, like how did I let that happen? So I try to stay away from stuff like that. But if you have self-control, you do the things. I don't.
That would be me. I would be like lost in the scroll hole.
Yep.
Okay. So before we leave, what is just one tip that you would leave us with?
Ooh, a lot of things, but I think number one would just be to be freaking consistent, y'all. I think that every single leader in this entire business, the only reason they are where they are is not because they didn't struggle, not because they didn't lose people or be told no, or lose rank or miss promotions or all those things. It's because they never quit. They never stopped doing the things, because that's what that's why there's less than 200 ambassadors, you guys. And some of you would say, well, that's discouraging. There's less than 200. No, there's less than 200 because only less than 200 people were willing to work every single day and do all the things no matter whether they felt like it or not. And that's what there's days that I don't want to do it. And there's days like today where I could not come up with anything for my leader Zoom until it just came to me. There's days I don't want to do my team training, or I'd rather go out and do something else than to have the responsibilities of a leader. But that's what I signed up for. And I want to go ambassador. And I know that ambassadors will do whatever it takes. And that's what I am. And so I show up no matter what, whether I'm sick, whether stuff's happening, whether I'm tired, whether I just ain't feeling it, I do it anyways. And so for those of you that are on here that maybe you struggle with being consistent, you need to reevaluate why you're doing this. Because you got to stop trying to figure out how, because you got to know why. I know that a lot of people on my team, they're just like, well, I don't really know. And I'm just like discouraged. And I'm like, when's the last time you thought about like not being able to like take your kids on a trip ever in your life? Or you're never going to be able to quit your job and you're just going to sit there and make $8 an hour, just like a happy bump on a log. Like that's not the life that you are meant to live. And that's why this business was placed in your life. And if you don't see that, now you do. Because you just have to do one thing, and that's be consistent with whatever you're doing. Like you got to work the business every single day, but I promise you doing the things every day is going to lead you to success, because there's nothing different that Stephanie and Joel did. There's nothing different that Courtney Board did. There's nothing different that Sherry Lynn did to get to number 2. She completed her steps to success every month, guys. There's no special message or a special post or a special thing that we have to have. God has already prepared you for this. That's literally my background. Like He's prepared you for this, but you've got to do the things. And John, I'll call it, last night, he was talking to us at her house and he said, God does the supernatural. We have to do the natural. We have to work the business. We have to show up. We have to do the consistency. We have to do the things that he can't necessarily do right here with us. He handles the supernatural. The times where you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm like, like when I was sitting there in April and I was only 49,000 from ambassador and that's all I needed. I was like, I don't know how this is going to happen. I really don't. Like, I don't know if it can, but that wasn't my job to figure out. And it didn't happen because it wasn't my timing, but that would have been the supernatural for God to handle. You know, Amanda Boucher was 50,000 from Ambassador like the last 4 days of the month. That was for God to handle, not for her. So you've got to stop trying to handle everything and fix all the things. Just work your business every day, and God will handle the supernatural while you handle the natural. And that's what we do every day, is do the things that we're supposed to do and all the things.
So good. So good. You are just like wise beyond your years, and we appreciate you so much taking time out of your night to just pour into us. And I have to tell you, like, you are a freaking ambassador. Like,
Thank you.
like you have it. We are all cheering for you, and we can't wait to celebrate with you. Like, you just blew me away tonight. So thank you so, so much.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. Guys, I'll get this recording up. So if you're some of your people weren't able to hop on, make sure you tag them. But Sheyenne, thank you so, so much. We appreciate you so much.
Of course. Good night.
Bye.